Let's dive even deeper into the captivating story of Timur, a ruler whose very name evokes strength, strategy, and the quest for supremacy. Imagine a world where the echoes of clashing swords and the thunder of hooves on the battlefield reverberated with the name Timur. This formidable figure, whose name meant iron, forged pyramids from the skulls of his adversaries, embodying a raw and ruthless power that left a mark on history. Born in the ancient land of Transoxiana, which we now recognize as modern-day Uzbekistan, Timur's birthplace was a cradle of empires, a region where greatness was destined to emerge. Emerging onto the stage sometime after 1320, his early life was shrouded in mystery, with tales of his father's noble status, and yet a suspicion that his true lineage was glossed over to cast his own accomplishments in a brighter light. Regardless, Timur grew up in a world of contrasts, where his relative comfort stood in stark contrast to the harsh realities his fellow tribesmen faced. Picture this: a young Timur, audacious and daring, venturing into the realm of banditry and thievery. Tales of his exploits spread far and wide, recounting his bold attempts to snatch riches from unsuspecting travelers. It was during one of these daring escapades that fate delivered its judgment in the form of arrows, leaving Timur marked for life with a maimed hand and a limp. These scars, painful reminders of his recklessness, would accompany him on his journey to greatness. Timur's evolution from a youthful troublemaker to a seasoned mercenary reads like an epic tale. Battlefields became his classroom, where he learned the art of warfare through first-hand experience. Despite his injuries, his indomitable spirit and magnetic leadership propelled him to the forefront of military campaigns. As 1360 dawned, Timur's name echoed across the land as a charismatic military leader, inspiring his troops with his unyielding determination. Picture this scene: Timur astride his steed, leading a charge of 1,000 horsemen against the sprawling landscapes of Krem and Urgench. The air crackled with tension as the clash of swords reverberated, heralding the rise of a warrior who would go on to reshape the course of history. However, the road to power was not a smooth one. Timur's ascent was accompanied by intrigue and power struggles, a mosaic of shifting loyalties and alliances. Amid the political tumult, he seized an opportunity that would forever alter his destiny. By aligning himself with the Khan of the Eastern Chagatai Khanate, Timur set in motion a series of events that would culminate in the conquest of Transoxania. As he rose to prominence, Timur's influence extended far beyond the battlefield. His charisma drew people from all walks of life: merchants captivated by his vision, tribesmen rallied by his strength, Muslim clergy inspired by his faith, aristocracy enticed by his power, and farm workers touched by his empathy. These alliances, rooted in mutual respect and shared goals, set the stage for the pivotal clashes that would follow. Fast forward to a realm embroiled in conflict, where Timur's cunning and audacity faced their greatest tests. The power struggle with his brother-in-law, Emir Hussein, epitomized the delicate balance of ambition and allegiances. As Timur's star ascended, Hussein's rule faltered, strained by exorbitant taxes and a disconnect with his subjects. The stage was set for a showdown that would leave Timur as the last one standing. But the tale doesn't end there. Timur's astuteness extended beyond the battlefield. After orchestrating Hussein's downfall, he embarked on an extraordinary move, marrying his widow, Sarai Mulk Khanum. This alliance, with a direct link to the revered Genghis Khan, bestowed upon Timur a semblance of legitimacy and authority among the Mongols. Yet, the road to rule was paved with complexities. Balancing leadership over the Muslim world and the Mongol Empire was a tightrope act. Mongol tradition forbade Timur from ruling directly due to his non-direct lineage to Genghis Khan. The solution? Craft a facade of governance through a puppet ruler while Timur operated as the mastermind behind the scenes. This intricate web of influence underscored Timur's ability to wield power with subtlety and finesse. With his realm expanding, Timur's gaze turned to the eastern horizon. Conquests unfurled, challenging adversaries met, and frontiers pushed further. His empire-building aspirations found expression in the subjugation of the Khans of Jaddha, a feat that resonated with power and dominion. Amid these triumphs, a darker chapter unfolded as Timur's forces, in an alliance with Tokhtamysh, laid siege to Moscow. Imagine the city's defenders, armed with firearms, standing defiantly against the onslaught. The struggle, a symphony of clashing wills, culminated in a fateful decision to open the city's gates, a choice that would lead to a tragedy of unparalleled scale. This is the world of Timur, a world where alliances could shift as swiftly as the sands, where conquests were balanced on a razor's edge, and where ambition and strategy danced in harmony. Join us as we continue to explore the legacy of this enigmatic ruler, unraveling the threads of his destiny and discovering the impact of his choices on the annals of history. Hold on to your hats, because we're about to dive even deeper into the heart-pounding conclusion of Timur's epic journey. Brace yourselves for a rollercoaster ride of conquest, revenge, and the darkest depths of human history. With the Battle of the Terek River on April 15, 1395, Timur proved once and for all that he was a force to be reckoned with. His massive army clashed with the Golden Horde, a battle that would send shockwaves throughout the region. In a remarkable display of strategic prowess, Timur's forces routed the Golden Horde, marking a turning point that would reverberate for years to come. But this was just the beginning. Timur's thirst for retribution was far from satisfied. His forces surged forward, cutting a destructive path through Mongol territory. One by one, major cities fell, their riches plundered, their grandeur reduced to rubble. The once mighty ruler of the Golden Horde saw his power crumble as Timur's forces conquered his realm. Moscow itself bowed to Timur's might, forced to submit under his occupation for a full year. Yet, with Timur's focus shifted northward, a storm of rebellion swept across newly conquered Persia. Timur's response was as chilling as it was brutal. Entire cities were razed to the ground, their inhabitants massacred. And from this gruesome carnage, a grim monument arose, towers made from the skulls of those who dared challenge Timur's supremacy. As the sun set on one conquest, another beckoned. Timur's gaze turned toward the riches of India. Under the pretense of curbing religious tolerance, Timur's forces launched a campaign to keep the Indian subcontinent in ruins. The cities and armies that stood in their way crumbled before Timur's onslaught. The year 1398 witnessed the devastation of Delhi, leaving behind nothing but shattered remnants and a city that would require a century to rebuild. Amidst this chaos, Timur retired to his capital in 1399, seemingly basking in the glory of his conquests. Yet, peace was fleeting. The world around him teemed with rivals and opportunists. Before the year was out, Timur found himself back on the warpath, this time driven by the invasions of his territory by the Sultan of Egypt and the Ottoman Sultan Bayezid I. Timur's response was swift and merciless. His army surged northward. The clash with Bayezid I was inevitable. The year 1402 marked a showdown near Ankara that would seal Bayezid I's fate. Timur's forces fought relentlessly, driving the Ottomans to the brink. Bayezid I was defeated and captured, mirroring the fate of Timur's own brother-in-law years prior. The campaign pressed on, sweeping through modern-day Turkey, leaving a trail of destruction and confrontation with European forces. But the climax of Timur's brutality lay further afield. In Syria, Aleppo stood defiant against Timur's forces. A pitched battle ensued, with Aleppo's defenders putting up a fierce resistance. Yet, Timur's unyielding determination, bolstered by his cavalry and elephants, shattered the city's defenses. What followed was a heart-wrenching tragedy. Aleppo fell, and Timur exacted his vengeance. The horrors that unfolded in the aftermath would stain history forever. But the depths of Timur's ruthlessness knew no bounds. In Damascus, the city's inhabitants sought refuge in the mosques, hoping to escape the impending devastation. Timur's response was a chilling act of cruelty. The doors were locked, and flames consumed the holy sites. Over 30,000 innocent lives were lost, and survivors were condemned to slavery. The echoes of this atrocity would resound for generations, leaving a haunting scar on history. As Timur's insatiable hunger for conquest led him to Baghdad, the once proud city met a similarly grim fate. The city's defenses crumbled under the relentless onslaught of Timur's forces. The order was simple, yet horrifying. Each soldier was to return with 2 human heads. The city's streets ran red with blood as the army descended like a swarm of locusts. Scholars were spared, but the rest of the city was obliterated, leaving Baghdad in ruins. Yet, Timur's legacy wasn't confined to destruction. As he turned his gaze towards China, the promise of conquest loomed on the horizon, but destiny had other plans. Illness struck Timur down, putting an abrupt end to his reign of terror. China was spared the horrors he had inflicted across the Middle East and Eastern Europe. This is the chilling saga of Timur, a ruler whose name would forever be synonymous with power and cruelty. And the lessons we can learn from this tumultuous chapter of human history.